Would I buy Ethereum Classic in the bear market? This one's actually pretty funny because I've never met or talked to anyone who would honestly sit here and say that Ethereum Classic is the future of cryptocurrency. I've never met anyone. I don't think I ever will. And yet, it's one of those things where if I'm going to follow the rules that I've set out for this series, then this is probably a decent cryptocurrency to buy in the bear market in anticipation of an upcoming, whatever the next euphoria phase may be, whether it's after the next Bitcoin halving or maybe there's a significant rally to the downside in the DXY. And so I want to remind you of the rules that I've made for whether or not I would buy a specific cryptocurrency. And so question one, was this cryptocurrency created before or after April 14th of 2021? For Ethereum Classic, it was created before. So question two, if before, will the next cycle be the second, third, or fourth cycle for this cryptocurrency? The next cycle, whenever that is going to be the third one. So if third or fourth, question three, did the cryptocurrency put in a higher high and a higher low each progressive cycle? If yes, my answer is likely yes. If no, my answer is likely no. So looking at Ethereum Classic, it follows the rules as to whether or not I would buy this cryptocurrency based on the rules for the next cycle. I mean, we'll see if it puts in a lower low, but it definitely put in a higher high. It peaked at what in 2018, January of 2018, actually in December of 2018, it peaked at about $44, maybe a little higher than that, wicked a little higher than that, put in a little bit of a double top and then, then went back down into the bear market lows. It got as low as, I think it got under $3 in the bear market. And then, I mean, you see this large explosive move in April of 2021. In May of 2021, Ethereum Classic peaked at something like, it might have wicked up to $175, but its highest daily close was about $140. And so that's not an insignificant higher high for that cycle, but it was explosive move, and then it just went right back down. So it's interesting with Ethereum Classic. So what I'm noticing here is a bit of a pattern is when you see Ethereum Classic take off, when you see it shoot up like crazy, like what we saw in May of 2021, that was very close to the end. Elon Musk went on SNL on May 9th. The week after he went on SNL, next week to 2 weeks, that's when everything crashed really hard. So we had a very short window, and I think Ethereum Classic was the thing pointing to that. And so would it put in a higher high next cycle? I do believe so. We have a 3x from peak to peak. I wouldn't be surprised. I think I would be surprised if it did put in another 3x. So what would that be? Something like $420 to $525, something like that. That would be a little bit surprising. But I mean, right now, or at least from the bear market bottom so far of $14.36, I'm seeing potential here for, at least a 10x. If it got back to its previous cycle top, that would be a 10x if you were to get it at $14. But maybe even a 20x or I would see the furthest reaches being something like a 30x. And then when you see Ethereum Classic put in that higher high or have some kind of explosive move like this, I think that's going to be time when you should, personally, in my opinion, be very aggressive in getting out of a lot of your cryptocurrencies. And so that general basic, what would I buy Ethereum Classic? Yes. And it might be one of those things that over time I might be able to take profits in other cryptocurrencies. Because if you remember, a lot of cryptocurrencies peaked in February and March. You saw explosive moves in those cryptocurrencies. Didn't quite see that for Ethereum Classic. Maybe it's a strategy of taking profits from those cryptocurrencies into Ethereum Classic, waiting for some kind of a higher high next euphoria stage, and then exiting entirely. I'm still weighing that out, but that might be my strategy moving forward. Now, I do want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about Ethereum Classic's tokenomics, because that's very important to understand. And I do want to talk about what is Ethereum Classic in general. I mean, because what we know of as Ethereum, believe it or not, isn't actually Ethereum. Ethereum Classic is Ethereum as it was originally designed. What we know of as Ethereum was a fork off of original Ethereum, and they just kept the name, and then they named this Ethereum Classic. But Ethereum Classic, as it was created, is actually older than Ethereum itself. And Vitalik Buterin created Ethereum Classic, and then something pretty dramatic happened, and there was a fork, and he continued to develop what we know of today as Ethereum, but that is the new one, and this is the old one. So let me read this. This is very important. Then I'll take a look at the tokenomics real quick. So the split between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Ethereum's hard fork began in July 2016. The cause for the division is rather convoluted. Some developers proposed DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, to play a central role in the Ethereum ecosystem. DAOs would enable users to pool ETH coins in order to collectively vote on and fund future Ethereum development. Unfortunately, after $150 million worth of ETH was collected, a hacker exploited a code flaw to pilfer 1/3 of the funds back in 2016. This was an enormous sum of money for an emerging novelty technology. As a result, most of the Ethereum developers decided to revert the code to its pre-DAO state to neutralize the theft of the funds. So Ethereum was created with the intent, at least, of being decentralized. But then this fork, this hack, in which $50 million worth of Ethereum was stolen, caused Ethereum developers, I would say most notably Vitalik Buterin and Gavin Wood, to be like, nope, we are making Ethereum decentralized, and so centralized. And so Ethereum, as you know it today, is centralized. They forked off and created a centralized cryptocurrency. Ethereum Classic remained decentralized, and it still is to this day. And that is today's Ethereum as we know it, with the hacked money returned to its investors. Ethereum Classic is the continuation of the original one with the DAO project. Therefore, because it represents the original code without the reset, it is called Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic users did not think the exploited funds should be returned to the initial holders. So the two rival parties branched off into two separate chains. As you know, Ethereum itself is much bigger than Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is decentralized, which means that it is open source, which means that coders can work on the code of Ethereum Classic. People can build dApps on Ethereum Classic, but today, you got to think this is very important in understanding the difference between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, because once ETH 2.0 launches, which I do think it will actually do one day, Ethereum is going to blow Ethereum Classic out the water, and it may make it irrelevant. I mean, that is something to consider, and I am considering when I ask this question, would I buy? But it's still not going to keep me away from buying at least some Ethereum Classic. I think the biggest thing is going to be the transaction speed. With Ethereum, with ETH 2.0, at least they're claiming that Ethereum will be able to process 100,000 transactions per second. But Ethereum Classic is remaining with proof of work, with mining. And that's going to keep its transaction speed pretty slow. And so Ethereum Classic is currently a dinosaur, but it will become antiquated. And yet people might still consider it as something worthy to trade as a cryptocurrency. I mean, we may see this pattern continue for a long time where Ethereum Classic just continues to put in higher highs. And so when I think about cycles and I think about, 4-year periods, would I buy? I will continue to buy Ethereum Classic until it stops putting in higher highs, and then I'm just going to be done with it. This is also going to be a great cryptocurrency to short if you have the ability. Download something like the KuCoin app or FTX. I think you can do it on FTX and open a short. When you see any kind of euphoria phase like that, open a short. You see it start going back down. It will continue to go back down for quite a while. So Ethereum Classic, another thing, I talked about already, the tokenomics. It's very important to understand Ethereum Classic's tokenomics. Let me do a Control F search on that real quick. I know it's not too far away. Here's the tokenomics. So Ethereum itself is inflationary. It is inflationary forever, although we have EIP 1559, which now burns Ethereum. We have EIP 3675 coming up, aka the merge, which is going to drastically reduce Ethereum supply from, by 90%, from something like 13,000 ETH created per day, mined per day, to 1,300 ETH in staking rewards. That's going to cause a major supply crunch. And Ethereum itself might actually become deflationary. That we'll see about whether that happens or not. I could see a point where it becomes deflationary to a point where the price is so high and the supply is so low that it just then naturally becomes inflationary, because the amount of ETH staked per day is more than what is burned, or more than what's burned. So anyway, difference between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum Classic has a max supply of 210 million ETH to ETC. I don't call it ETH because that is Ethereum. So 210,700,000 ETH. ETC, excuse me. The current circulation, this article is a little bit old. As of the writing of this article, is 128 million. I wouldn't be surprised by the next halving if it was something, the next Bitcoin halving, if it was something like 140, 150 million. And so there's a decent amount that still needs to be mined. They don't have halvings, Ethereum Classic doesn't, but they do have a period every certain amount of blocks where the amount of Ethereum Classic that can be mined is reduced, which, that's a good thing when it comes to its own stock to flow. It's something worth considering, that maybe even if Ethereum Classic becomes a dinosaur, which it will, that the cryptocurrency will still be attractive to some people. Just like Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic might be able to carve out some kind of niche as a copper. I'm picturing Litecoin as digital silver, Bitcoin as digital gold. Maybe Ethereum Classic can carve out something like a digital copper, given the fact that there is a fixed supply. 21 million Bitcoin, 84 million Litecoin, 210 million Ethereum. Maybe it works out in the long run as some kind of store of value. But there's other candidates as well. So it's not like I'm holding my breath thinking that this is the one that's going to function in such a way. All those things considered, I will be buying some Ethereum Classic in the bear market. I am not backing up the truck. I am not going all in at any point, even if I have huge gains in other ones, and I still see Ethereum Classic kind of lying flat. But it's something that I do expect at some point to have a very dramatic move to the upside, and I want to be there for it, and so that it's going to be really exciting when that comes. But again, that might be a signal that it's time to exit all of your positions. So anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. Check out the rest of my videos in this series. This video, I am convinced, will still be relevant, will be just as relevant 2 years from the making of it as it is now. And I do expect a lot of other videos to be the same. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Otherwise, I will see you in another video. Peace.